Hello, once again, I'm BR Schultz, SP 500. Thank you for joining me on this October 4th edition. We have part 43 here for you, and we're about 59 months away from what I believe will be the start of the Great Depression, and that will take us into end of 2034. And if you were paying attention, if you have been following my work, the model has been calling for a peak in markets around October 3rd of 2025, and it looks like we hit that, and it looks like the price is right. We hit 67.60 on the SPX 500 USD on Friday, and yeah, so I went all in short near the 67.40 mark, and then the market sharply reversed lower. So hopefully you got that big reversal candle. The futures, continuous futures contract ended negative for the day, so that was a good sign to me. And we have about 13 days now until trading days, until we hit bottom, I believe, on October 23rd, roughly. Could it be 21st? Could it be the 22nd? Sure. Certainly could. So I think that's going to fall around 63.50. on the SPX 500 USD on tradingview.com. So again, you can always go to tradingview.com, look at SPX 500 USD, and see where my numerical values are coming from. That's a continuous contract. So thank you for joining me tonight. Let's move into the graphs. But one last moment to I think say that the pricing cluster peak predictions are working, right? It predicted around 6,800, got around 6,800 for what I believe will be the peak. So I believe that the way that I am calculating price termination levels or bottoms is working. So it is Saturday night, so the kids are getting ready to go to bed. So in case you hear some background noise, that's what's happening there. So I like a little hustle and bustle around my house. So thank you for joining me. Let's move on to the graphs. Okay, so this is the peak model for the 5-minute model on the S&P 500. On my 5-minute model, basically I found that the red, what I call the Homer Simpson algorithm, does a spectacular job actually at predicting peaks. And if you followed my work for a few years, you may start to believe that I've grown extremely good at predicting where peaks are. And maybe 10 years ago, I didn't think it was ever possible for me to predict peaks. And now it seems that I'm highly proficient at predicting peaks. But bottoms can be harder, because an up market, as you know, you can have multiple bottoms, but the market just keeps trending higher, 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 higher. So you want to be able to find the peaks in those types of scenarios, right? Well, the model for some reason is able to figure out what the peaks are. So you have the 1, 2, 3, 4 here, and then the black line. Essentially, you take that and you take it off the purple waves, and wherever that crashes into the black horizontal, that's where the peak is. So that's your October 3rd there on the screen. So that is the peak, I believe, and so now we need to transition into where the bottom is. So we have 13 trading days until we hit bottom, around hopefully that 63.50. And if I can start using these pricing calculations to lock in the targets, that would be wonderful, right? That would be an extraordinary advance in my work. So I'm really hoping that those pricing calculations really start coming through for me. That would be beyond extraordinary, right? Because if I need the structure to validate my timing, that would be extraordinary, because I know what my structure needs to look like in the pricing now that I've studied it for a very long time, or not for a very long time, I have a very clear understanding of what I'm looking for, I might say. There's not really any confusion, at least on the pattern side. Now, could the pattern reset, something like that, on candles and all that nature? Yes, it could. So that's obviously where things could change, but I know what pattern I'm looking for, if you're wondering how am I looking for patterns. So again, 63.50 is where I'm looking for on October 21st through 23rd. I bought puts down at 6,400, expiring I think at around October 27th. So let's move on to some more graphs. Okay, so this is the bottom model, and essentially you can see that the model is still picking up a bottom markets around the December 1st time frame, and then based on the zigzags structure, but also what we're seeing here with those black trend lines, you're seeing how the black dashed lines are skipping off the top of the graph and actually able to hit where the bottom of the market is. So we had a major bottom market around March 11th. In the zigzag, it still took the averaging of the pricing to change the direction of the graph itself, but the pricing actually hit a bottom around March 11th. And then you may recall that the market retested its lows around August 8th, I believe, August 7th or 8th. We had a retest of the lows, or a major drawdown in the market, and then it popped back up. So I believe that's where you're seeing for the black dashed line for into early August, and then you can also see black dashed line skimming off the top of the graph and hitting the next black horizontal line around that October 21st, 22nd, 23rd time frame. So I believe that's where the next major bottom in markets is going to be. So that's why we have a 13 trading day window here where we could have a sell-off, nice sell-off. And then we'll hit a bottom, and then we'll pop up maybe into mid-November or maybe even Thanksgiving, and then we'll have some type of crash into early or very end of November, early December. So I think we have the pricing tables are next. So this is a new feature, my pricing tables. Basically on the left you have the intraday candle structure that I've learned how to create a calculator, and a little bit of background. I can't give you the secret formula, obviously the secret sauce, but that's a reference to McDonald's hamburgers. I think if you remember from the 90s, the special, was it the special sauce? I can't remember, the secret sauce, special sauce. For the calculation, essentially, it's numbers that I've learned about the market. That's the best I can. That's the best I can give, or the most I can give to the viewer is my favorite numbers, obviously, in the markets. The number 7 plays a very vital role in this, because I believe that markets numbers are very much tied to Christianity, to the Lord, to the 777 in the Bible for completeness. And so obviously if you believe in, at least for me, believing in completeness means that there's got to be a some type of link to the number 7. So, and the various forms of 7. So 3, 4, 43, things like that. So just that's, you might call it, I'm not sure, biblical numerology or things like that, but I believe that I've always believed that, right? So the fact that this works, it seemingly works, I'm pretty blown away by. It's only been in action for about a month, I'd say, right? So I've just made this discovery. I was in discussions with, I think I may have said it before, I was in discussions with this gentleman that told me I was going to become a very successful market timer someday. In 2011, I think it was, and I didn't really believe him. It was one of my last conversations with him here at the end of 2025. He seemed to want to stick to himself, and so I was praying and asking the Lord. I'm like, Lord, I don't even know why you brought this gentleman into my life, but for some reason he's from the UK and I've never seen him. I always say that he was my AI bot that encouraged me, because he would never speak with me face to face on any type of platform or anything. He would only message me through email and phone call originally in 2011 through 2013. So his communication became more cryptic, I think, because he was becoming better and better at what he was doing. At least that's what he was saying. And so I obviously, it felt like the friendship was coming to an end, because he didn't have any sense of humor anymore, and he was very sharp and critical. So I was like, I don't even know what the purpose of this friendship ever was. He reached out to me at the beginning, but then he just started throwing numbers at me, right? So the markets would do what they do, and then he would give me a target. And he did this for like 2 weeks straight. He'd give me a target for the next day, for the next day, for the next day. And pretty soon I'm like, okay, I've studied the markets enough. I know candles. You know, the targets he's given me obviously have to have some numerical link to structure that's in the pricing for the 24-hour markets, right? So that's when I started studying them. That's when I tried to go work it backwards. Started trying different techniques. Trying to think outside the box, right? Because the standard thinking is that you use Fibonacci retracements, right? It's a pure retracement, and I knew it couldn't be that simple. I knew that if there's going to be some type of logic or intelligence in markets, it's not going to be so simple as just measuring extensions. Anyone can do that, right? So basically that comes back to my number 7, and then I developed a very third grade mathematical formula. If I were to ever share it, people would laugh because it's so basic. It's very easy to use. If someone wanted to give me this calculation, I could literally give it to them in a minute, probably maybe 77 seconds. It's that quick. I mean, I could just look at it, punch in a few numbers, and it spits it out. Obviously, the timing models help out a lot. Being able to tell where the major turning points are, that's going to be a big point, right? But once that structure sets up around my timing, I feel very confident, right, about where the turn is now. If it doesn't, even if my math is wrong a little bit, right, on the calculations of the downside for levels, what it's teaching me is how to methodically look for the turning point, right? So I knew that the markets on Friday, at least I had a strong feeling that we could press back into the highs, but not much higher, right? The highs were like 67.40, 67.45, and we pressed into 67.60, so like 15, 20 points higher, but not greatly higher. So I don't understand why it's 10 or 15 points. I don't fully understand that yet, but I know what the structure looks like, right? So I knew that we could press back up to 67.50 or maybe a little higher, and that's exactly what we did. But I didn't see us breaking out, right? So we broke up to 67.50, 67.60, and then we completely reversed and erased all the gains for the day, right? So now that I know what structure to look for, I'm very it's growing confidence in me. So essentially on the left side you have the intraday structure of pricing. I look at the intraday scale, and then I look at the daily candles for the right side on SPX 500 USD. And obviously, if one of my kids or my wife watches this down the road, they'll also, hopefully this will give them some clues in what I do for my projections. But essentially, then I look for the alignment or the clustering of values. So if you look at these two tables, essentially you see 63.40 on the right side for the daily scale for the first target, the T01, BRS underscore T01 in yellow. That's the 63.40. And then the target for the intraday in the center of the graph, BRS underscore T03, is 63.60. So you might say, well, that's just your first strike point on the daily scale. Could that ever be? Could it never not be the first point on the pricing table? That's where I don't know. I don't know that. But assuming that those two sync, that those two cluster, that would be my first target. So I'm assuming that we hit around 63.50. So I bought puts for 6,400 for October 27th. So what I do is I bump the price up a little bit to the closest 100 round lot, and then I push the date out by about 3 or 4 days. So even though I'm expecting the market to bottom on roughly October 23rd, I bought options for 3 or 4 days later, puts, right? So if we get close on the October 21st to my value or to my target, my downside target, then I can exit my puts. I don't want to leave it right to the day. But yeah, so that's how I'm playing it. And then I went heavily short. So I'm 99.5% short on markets into that time frame. So hopefully you've gained a little knowledge, a little insight into how I'm approaching markets now. But I really find this method pretty interesting because I've added a pricing side to the coin, not just timing side. So with that, thank you, and hope you have a wonderful evening, good weekend, and catch you in the next video. As of, let's see here, on October 3rd, I saw that a few people donated on my GoFundMe page. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate it. It means a lot to me. Huge target, obviously, huge goal. But you know, you gotta throw out huge goals every now and then just for fun, right? You never know. But every gift means the world to me. It truly does. I'm thankful for it. And I leave it in the Lord's hands. If He wants to get me up to $750,000 by the end of 2034, hopefully my work earns it, right? I want to operate at such a level where my salary is worth more than the New York stock market hedge funds and the Connecticut hedge funds, right? I want my work to speak for itself. I want my work to outpace and dunk over all the competition, like Michael Jordan played against his competitors back in the day. But essentially, I want that to be from my that's where I'm going to hold myself to that standard, right? So I'm really excited about this new pricing theorem that I've applied, that I've learned, that I feel like the Lord has been gracious to teach me, because I don't think that you can really understand mysteries in the stock market that are extremely accurate unless God Himself is merciful to you, and after years and years and years of prayer, shows such mercy. Like was it Daniel who could decipher dreams, or was it also Joseph? So I believe that that's the only way that that's going to really happen, is if God Himself has mercy on you and grants such wisdom. So that's my hope, and obviously if it is, then maybe He'll also provide the provision with such accuracy, right? I want the accuracy to be there. I don't want it to be out of pity or anything else like that, right? I don't want the public to think, oh, people just pity him. No, I don't want that to be at all. I want it to be because my work is top level, right? Far beyond the levels of my competition in the space by highly trained professionals and those that have been educated in the field. I want my work to either be at their level or extremely superior to the work and their estimates. So thank you so much for watching me. I'm BR Schultz, SP500. Until next time, take care. All right, so Nightcap here this is Nightcap, and he wanted to say a final word on the video. If you're still watching this, you must either really be bored to tears, or maybe you just let this play on forever and you didn't realize that this video was still playing, or you're Nightcap or one of the other kids watching in the future. Nightcap, you have anything you want to say to yourself in the future if you're watching this video?
Don't screw up and make good life choices.
Excellent words of wisdom for yourself. All right, buddy. Thanks for making the tail end of the video. You want to sign off for the evening?
No.
No? All right, buddy.